Hello and welcome to Checkered Flag. Tonight we have a real mixed bag for you. Plenty of speedway action later in the show, but we kick it off with some go-kart action from Dubbo's Lincoln County Raceway. Okay, the elite karting drivers from Australia now getting set to go in the Formula A class, round 4 of the Dunlop CIK Australian Karting Championship from Dubbo's Lincoln County Raceway. One of the fastest circuits in the series. Joining me in commentary tonight will be former speedway driver Colin Farr. Also did a little bit of karting in his youth.
Yeah, thanks Rod, great to be here. Looking forward to seeing a bit of go-kart action. As you said, I started my career in this division and a lot of drivers did that. It's a great category to get started in.
Now, many of Australia's finest karting talents head to Europe in search of fame and fortune. Michael Patrizi is one of those drivers, but he's back here in Dubbo for this weekend. We spoke to him about his international experience.
Basically, as of July in Europe, they go on a 2-month holiday where no racing happens. All the factories shut, so I had 2 months to do nothing. So I thought I'd come back and have a crack at the round 4 of the 2003 Dunlop CIK Championships.
Have you adapted to the European style of racing as you would have expected, or have you found it to be a little more difficult than you first thought?
The driver calibre is the same, just the grip level and the rest of it is a bit harder. I've adapted okay, nothing special at the moment. I've had a few crashes, but I'm not going too bad.
When you went to Europe, you intended to go there this year regardless, but you've taken on a considerably higher role with Birrell Motorsport. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, originally I expected to go with the satellite team, Savani Motorsport, which is a satellite team to Birrell. And then on the entry list I see Birrell Motorsport. When I got there I was part of the main team, part of the 4 drivers. As originally planned with Formula Super A and Formula A, I was going to be the leading driver in Formula A with 2 drivers. Because of the cancellation of Formula Super A, all 4 of us are now in Formula A. So I've picked up a huge role straight away, which I'm really happy about.
Obviously the European industry is much larger than things here in Australia. How do the Australian CIK Championships hold up against things over there?
That's a very difficult question, Matt. The Australian CIK Championships is very competitive. I'd say it'd be one of the hardest in the world in respects of Formula A. The professionalism isn't there due to the money factor. In Europe, the money factor is extremely high. The closest thing you could regard it to in Italy, in Australia, sorry, is the V8 supercars.
And drivers over there, I believe they get paid. Is that correct?
Oh, there are several drivers over there on $100,000, $100 Australian $1,000.
Yeah, Michael actually competing in the Intercontinental C class this weekend at Dubbo, but as we said earlier, more than qualified to speak when it comes to Formula A. Now, the qualifying for Formula A was very interesting, with victorious Matt Wall actually taking pole position for the heats. Yeah, the JT Team Arrow driver doing a tremendous job to capture pole position and set himself up for a great weekend here at Dubbo. Here are the points leading into today's 4th round of 5. Jason Heinuk on 173, Barclay Holden on 160, Matt Wall 147, then Richard McLeod, Andrew Tomlinson, Daniel Elliott, Ben Chong Sun and Jason Burns rounds out the top 8 in this most competitive of karting classes, the Formula A division. Some vision here from the heats, and tremendous heats they were, very competitive. Jason Heinuk in kart 45, one of the front runners in the championship to date. Very talented young driver with a big future in motorsport, no doubt about that. Bit of biff and barzia around the turn. Number 20, Wade Cunningham, all the way from New Zealand. The Kiwi over here to try and take some trophies back to the land of the long white cloud. But 12 or 15 Australians will be very reluctant to let him do that. Cunningham is also an experienced international, having driven in Europe on several occasions. Really doing a good job over there, sinking a lot of money into what he hopes will be a promising career in karting and motorsport in general. And this man on screen, Colin, Jason Heinuk, very talented.
Yeah, he's doing a great job in this race. Look at the gap he's pulled out over the rest of the field. A great circuit here at Dubbo, has a good contrast between long straightaways and some tight corners there through the infield.
Yeah, and top speeds of approximately 135 kilometres an hour down this main straight here at Dubbo into a hairpin left-hand corner. Plenty of action down that end of the circuit.
Yeah, consider this too, Rod. The drivers only sit about 2 centimetres off the track, so that 130 kilometres would feel more like 230.
That certainly would. Now, after plenty of heat race action, which as you can see was very frantic, Matt Wall in JT Team Arrow took pole position. We spoke to him after his qualifying performance.
Yeah, this year's been really good for us. Every round we're developing new chassis. and every new chassis we've developed is working well for us. We're slowly closing the gap from the leaders each round we go to, and I'm running third in the championship, so hopefully from now on we'll be heading closer to the winner.
And this weekend you've qualified on the pole position for Formula A. Everything seems to be working okay up until now?
Yeah, up until now. Like yesterday was a different day. It was in the rain. My aero was working perfect on the Bridgestone wet weather tyres. My mechanic Adam Graham has done a wonderful job in setting up the kart for me, and it's been a treat. But once again, today's a different day altogether, and we should be on the pace no matter what happens.
And of course, Adam, he's last year's Formula A champion. What sort of experience does he bring to your racing?
Definitely a good experience for me, because I can communicate to what the kart's doing on the track, and he understands what I'm talking about because he's been there and done that.
He certainly has been there and done that, and Matt Wall is benefiting greatly from the experience, qualifying himself onto pole position. Now Wade Cunningham, as we spoke of earlier, is a Kiwi coming over to try and take some silverware from our drivers. We spoke to him earlier.
I started racing in the Australian Championships, and I actually enjoy the racing here. I know quite a few of the drivers, and so we like to come back for a bit of relaxation, really.
And you've come across from New Zealand specifically for this weekend. And what's in the pipeline for yourself in Europe?
Well, it's the summer holidays now, so I'm back for about a few more weeks. I had a couple of weeks in New Zealand. I've got this race, and then I'm going straight back.
And this weekend, how's things going for you?
It's been mixed fortune, really. I think we were going all right in the dry and practice on Friday. Then it rained. We were quickest in the first time trials. Then we slipped to third, and I went off in both heats. One was a driver error from myself, and the other was contact. But we're still lying second for the pre-final, hopefully, at the moment.
Yeah, well, young Wade ended up qualifying himself third onto the grid for the pre-final. Pretty good performance considering some of the dodgy things that happened to him during the wet qualifying on the Saturday.
Shot now of Jason Burns in the middle of this battle. He's been super competitive over this weekend.
Certainly has. Now Queensland's Barclay Holden lies second in the championship coming into this fourth round of 5. We spoke to him before the big main event today.
Yeah, the start of the weekend wasn't too great, but we managed to qualify 5th, which is all right. Just finished both the heats, which gave us 5 points for the championship. And now that it's dry, we went back to our setup that we found on Friday, and we're pretty confident that we can run at the front and hopefully end up with a win here today.
And the Trolley Kart chassis that you're using, inspired by Jarno Trulli, Renault Formula 1 driver?
Yeah, he had a lot to do with the design and the manufacturing of the chassis, and he sort of comes over once a year to see how all the Trolley Kart drivers are going, so he's really involved in the product, which is good for us to have someone of his calibre involved.
Can you imagine that, Cole? Imagine driving a go-kart with Grand Prix superstar Jarno Trulli watching. Wouldn't that be a thrill?
Yeah, a lot of these Formula 1 drivers in today's competition all started their careers in go-karts as kids. I'm sure we've got some aspiring F1 drivers amongst this field this weekend.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And good to see Trulli keeping in touch with the kart, not just putting his stamp on it and leaving it to, I guess, run into decline.
Yeah, it's good to see drivers at that calibre putting something back into the sport, back at the grassroots level.
Yeah, the grassroots level is where it all starts. If you'd like to get involved in karting, call your local kart authority on 1300 30 kart. That is 1300 30 KART to get involved in what is one of the most exciting forms of motorsport available. Queensland's John McCleverty is a series coordinator for the Dunlop CIK Australian Karting Championship. He ran us through the ins and outs of a Formula A kart earlier on.
Formula A is the top level we have here in Australia. It's basically it's on a controlled Dunlop tyre. It's an open compound tyre. The engines are 100cc. Do what you like to them as long as they remain no larger than 100cc, with a 24mm throttle bore carburettor on it. Then the next class below that is Intercontinental A, which is has a few more restrictions on exhaust timing and carburettors, and they still run on an open compound tyre though. It's just that, and then you just get down to the junior Intercontinental A then, which has even more restrictions on it.
John there touching on the technical side of Formula A as the karts now get underway. You get set for the fourth round of the Australian Championship. Shot there of the drivers warming up the tyres on these little machines.
How good's this going to be? The final of the Formula A. 28 laps of journey around this pacey Dubbo circuit. And interestingly enough, in the pre-final, Jason Heineuch managed to knock Matt Wall out of the pole position spot that he had gained through good qualifying, and it will be Hynuk who starts from pole. Matt Wall out of position number 2. Barclay Holden, very hard charger, out of 3. Richie McLeod from 4. John Grother out of 5. From 7 will be Paul Williams, followed by Nick Simmons, Jason Burns, Wade Cunningham from New Zealand, Benjamin Chong's son in the top cart out of position number 11, as we get set to go racing in what is glorious sunshine in comparison to the day yesterday during the heats in near flood conditions. Coming around the final bend of this Dubbo circuit, it will be Wall and Hynuk to lead us away, and it is Wall who gets away to a flyer. Hynuk almost pushed off the circuit into turn 1.
Didn't Wall get a great run there from outside of the front row, but it's Hynuk now in second position. He's all over the back of Wall.
Yeah, Wall's out in front. Oh, very, very close tussle for 3rd and 4th here. Very interesting stuff on the early stages of this race.
So Matt Wall in the Arrow machine got the jump. At the moment leads by a cartling, but Hynuk is right on his back bumper. They're now pulling out a little bit over the carts, running in 3rd and 4th position.
Yeah, Matt Wall was a little bit perplexed getting knocked off that pole position, but soon made up for it, taking the lead back into that very, very critical turn 1 we spoke about earlier. Literally a hairpin corner at the end of 130+ km/h straightaway. And it is Wall who leads from Hynuk as they complete the first lap of 28.
Some passing going on back in the field. These drivers need to be really aggressive. These carts are so evenly matched. It's the aggressive ones that can get through.
It's such a fine line. Sorry, Cole, I was just going to say, it's such a fine line because if you do spin, you stall the engine and you don't just lose 2 seconds, you lose 25.
Yeah, and you don't really have any big bumpers on these carts either, so it doesn't take much to sort of run really close to someone and jump a wheel. Put you right out of contention now as the first 4 carts now bunch back up.
Yeah, Wall and Hynuk come under some very, very close attention here from the drivers in 3rd and 4th. Barclay Holden slots himself into 4th position, and he will be a danger as this race progresses. He's one of the real hard chargers in this series. Cart number 14 right in amongst it. Richie McLeod, the man from Toowoomba, the Toowoomba Tornado. He's up into 3rd.
Hynuk's now our leader. He's found his way past Matt Wall.
Yeah, Hynuk takes the lead from Wall. Now they're sitting in the positions they were on. Hang on a minute, I think Wall's back in front. That happened down on at the end of the main straightaway. Wall went straight back under Hynuk and said, no, thank you, I am back in the lead.
Wow, what a battle. They've changed the lead now 3 times, these two. They've been going at it hammer and tong. But now Matt Wall gets a little bit of a break over Hynuk. Or is Hynuk just getting his breath back to attack again?
Well, he got a rude shock then. He thought he had Wall, but that was not the case. As we see here, very, very close action with just 16 laps to go. Nearing, oh, have a look at Hynuk. He's all class. Straight back, and Wall comes back at him again. Can you believe it? Have a look at this. I think that's McLeod up into the fray now.
Look at the crowd. They're going berserk on the hill here at Dubbo.
I'll tell you what, I'd be going berserk too. It's minus 29 degrees here at Dubbo, but the action on the track is red hot as Wall, Hynuk, McLeod and Barclay Holden turn on the race of the weekend in the Formula A final.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of these top 4 here could win this one.
Have a go at this. He's just opened up a little bit of a gap, Wall. This is uncharacteristic for Formula A. He's probably opened up about an 8 or 9 metre gap, and it is still Wall from Hynuk.
Hynuk's making a run again. He dives through on the inside, gets it all crossed up. Neil Wall there runs wide. That's allowed another cart to slip straight up into 2nd position.
I think it's McLeod. The Toowoomba Tornado up into 2nd.
No, Barclay Holden, car number 35. Cart 35's jumped up into 2nd position. Big drive here from him.
Well, how would you know they're chopping and changing that quick? Let's just call them the awesome foursome as we come onto the main straight. It is Hynuk, Holden, McLeod and Wall going at it, hammer and tong.
Saw Hynuk there ducking his helmet down. He's trying to cut through the wind.
Mate, any advantage they can get here. It's very, very close here at the Dubbo circuit. The crowd are on their feet as these 4 turn on a cracker.
Matt Wall now been relegated to 3rd position in cart number 15. But the battle is for the lead. It's Hynuk out in front.
Barclay Holden, he's a very, very impressive driver. Doing exceptionally well. Looked pretty focused prior to the final, and it's paying off now as he charges out. Have a look at it. It's Holden. He's gone under Hynuk. And looks like he's managed to pull off the manoeuvre successfully, but Hynuk's got more to worry about behind him as McLeod and Wall still in this big time.
You see the drivers there taking their right hand off the wheel, still tuning the motors every single lap. Don't know how they have the time. They're concentrating so hard, running so close
Have a go at Wall. He's not out of this yet. He's gone back. He went from first to fourth. Now he's back up into second, possibly just timing his run. But he'll have his work cut out to pull back this Heineuch. He's all class.
Heineuch definitely the man to beat at the moment. And he leads by a cart length now over Holden, who runs in second.
Yeah, it is Holden in second. Cart 14 still in fourth. That's Richie McLeod, the man from Toowoomba. Builds and drives his own carts, and they work very and now I'm losing track of this race. He's gone back up into first now.
That's the same move he did 2 laps earlier. So Holden's got a great line there. He loses another position now, and there also comes...
Don't tell me it is McLeod. Is it McLeod? No, it's Wall back up into second. Oh,
what a race.
Unbelievable stuff from the Formula A boys. Ah, this is amazing. Up through the back straight away here. Heineuch always seems to end up in front after each lap, but during the laps he goes from first to second to third to fourth. It's Heineuch from Wall. McLeod.
Wall dropped back to third position there for a while. Now he's back in second, getting ready to challenge again Heineuch. Oh, it gives him a bit of a love tap there. Very aggressive, these drivers. Holden sits there in third in car number 35. Back onto the main straightaway. Nose to tail, the top 4. Look at them, how close they're running.
And yeah, just 3 laps to go now. As we come up through the top, it's Heineuch in second. Barclay Holden currently leads this one. Oh, Richie McLeod just tagging onto the back of the front too. It'll be interesting to see what the Toowoomba Tornado can do over the dying stages. Hasn't won a Formula A race for quite some time, and it would certainly be a major celebration for this fun-loving Queenslander if he could pull off the victory. But it is Holden, Heineuch and McLeod with just 2 laps remaining.
I still think Heineuch's got something else to throw at Holden out in front.
It's getting very busy down through the back section on the track. Heineuch, he has been the driver of the race, it has to be said, but Holden, all class, holding off this hard-charging pair. McLeod just maybe 3 or 4 metres behind. It doesn't sound like much, but in karting, it can be a lifetime.
Laps are winding down now. Heineuch will have to make his charge soon. Here he goes through on the inside. Holden ducks back on the inside, but can't make the pass stick onto the main straightaway.
No, they'll go on to the last lap, and it will be Heineuch and Holden neck and neck, locked wheel to wheel as they go on, as I said, to the last lap. McLeod hasn't given up either. He's tagged onto the back of this awesome trio. Oh, this could get ugly. It's very busy out there. Heineuch, oh, there's a barge. McLeod pulls up alongside.
They're 3 wide. Unbelievable stuff.
Oh, tiny. It's got Bessie. It had to.
Had to happen.
It had to end in tears. Heineuch and Holden. Have a look at it. It's Holden up the inside, just clips the right-hand rear wheel of Jason Heineuch. And Heineuch, none too impressed with that manoeuvre, although you really couldn't pin blame. 3 wide on the last lap.
A racing incident, I think. Replay here from another angle. They were 3 wide here going into the right-hander. Just a bit of contact with the right rear wheel, and that was enough to throw Holden up and over Heineuch. Those 2 drivers go out. And Richard McLeod inherits the lead.
Well, he placed himself very well, just managed to stay out of trouble. Probably missed the incident by no more than a metre. But it is Richie McLeod out in front, the man from Toowoomba, as we said earlier, builds and drives his own karts, and you cannot get a better advertisement for a product than to win round 4 of the Dunlop CIK Australian Karting Championships at Dubbo, as McLeod does. And you can see by the jubilation, arms in the air, this man is very happy to take another career victory. Richie McLeod first, Wade Cunningham, the Kiwi, picks up the pieces, and Matt Wall, who's been from first to second to third to fourth, and now back up into third, takes a rostrum spot, and much deserved as well. Well, there he is, the man McLeod. You can see the relief. He's a very happy man. I'm sure his crew will be elated. The trip back to Toowoomba will not seem half as long as it would have, as they take the first place trophy back with them. He will be greeted by John McCleverty. McCleverty walks over, will embrace his driver. Undoubtedly a firm handshake there. McLeod over the moon. The freezing cold crowd warmed by what was a great piece of entertainment. So it is Queensland's Richie McLeod who stands atop the rostrum for the first time in quite a while. He's flanked by Matt Wall on his right and Wade Cunningham, the New Zealander, on his left. We spoke to Richie McLeod about a tremendous victory and one that gave him immense satisfaction. I'm now joined by the winner of the Formula A class, Richie McLeod from Toowoomba. Richie, top race.
Sensational race, Rod, yeah. It was a pleasure to be part of. Unfortunately, there was an incident on the last lap, as you all saw, but we came out with a win. That's what we came here for.
I mean, you guys, there was 4 of you going wheel to wheel for literally the full 30 laps, so I guess something had to give.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of friction there between the Barclay and Jason, but unfortunately it ended in tears, and it was good for me, yeah.
It's also a double compliment to you. You apparently build your own karts, and it was one of your karts you were driving, so great advertisement for your own business.
Yeah, Zero karts are manufactured in Toowoomba. They are a very good kart. Yesterday in the wet, we had a few problems. We struggled a little. We actually qualified dead last, and to come out with the win today, I think it shows just how good the kart actually is.
And what's your make of the Dubbo circuit?
Dubbo circuit's a terrific circuit. Weather's not too crash hot, but as far as the racing circuit goes, yeah, it's great.
Well, I guess we can say he's definitely not one of McLeod's daughters. This guy is a champion. Well done, Richie.
Thanks, Rod.
And now for the point standings after round number 4. Jason Heinduk is our leader on 222. Barclay Holden is second. Matt Wall third. Richard McLeod sits in 4th. Jason Burns in 5th. Daniel Elliott in 6th position. John Grother in 7th. And Ben Chong Sun in position number 8.
Points in the Aon Manufacturers Cup. Trulli on 235, followed by Arrow, Birrell, CRG, Top Card, Omega, Azuro, BRM and PCR. We spoke to Dunlop's Les May about his continued involvement with the CIK Championship.
Well, we certainly hope that it becomes bigger. Next year we want to be involved again. We've recently spoken to the CIK committee and encouraged them to take up the same sort of deal for next year, which we'll be 100% behind. I think as the premier class of Australian karting, it's getting more and more publicity. It's getting more and more involvement in the everyday karter. Wants to be part of what's going on. So Dunlop's role on this is to keep supplying a really good tyre that suits our style of racing, and have competitive racing like we've seen today.
Later in the year, we'll bring you the 5th and final round of the Australian Go-Karting Championship. And if you want to get involved in go-karts, contact your state karting office on 1300 30 kart. That's 1300 30